You are tuned to Anubhav 2.0 podcast from senior citizens, catalyzed and supported by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, through National Institutes for Social Defense and Media for Community Foundation. The project is conceived and designed by Dr. R. Sridhar and supported by Ashish Tiwari, Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha and Kaushalya.
Hello listeners, greetings from Covaivani. Our guest today is Mr. Kairav Modi, who shares with us his thoughts on women empowerment and on technology for the less tech savvy. Mr. Modi has also introduced a few new techniques in his workplace, contributing to empowerment and greater participation of women. Over to Mr. Modi.
Hello, respected ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kairav Modi. Before I talk about a couple of topics which are close to my heart, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kairav Modi, and I'm 53 years of age. I'm married and have two daughters. My wife is a German teacher and an intercultural trainer. She works with the Goethe Institute. I have two daughters. The elder one works with Amazon in London, and the younger one is studying graphical design and brand identity with the London College of Communication and University of Arts London. So both the daughters are in London. Something about myself: I started my professional journey back in 1995 after completing my chartered accountancy and cost accountancy from India. I worked at that point in time with a company called Arthur Andersen, which some of you would have heard, or most of you would have heard of. It was an American tax and accountancy company. Was of course embroiled in the Enron. The company was embroiled in the Enron controversy, and globally it had a fallout. And the company then changed its name to Accenture, which was basically into management consulting, which today is one of the world's largest tech companies. I worked there for around 8.5 years, and then I joined Siemens in 2004-5. And since then, I've been working with Siemens for the last 20 years, and I've assumed multiple roles globally and locally. Today, I'd like to talk about my current role, which is, of course, right now I'm working in Melbourne in Australia as the CFO of the regional company Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific. Today, I'd like to talk about a couple of topics that I've sort of picked up as a part of my professional and personal journey. And I'd like to, I'm sure these topics will resonate with you and you will appreciate where I'm coming from. The first topic that I'd like to talk about is diversity. Diversity is a subject which is critical, especially in the Indian society, the society that where we come from. And today in the organizations and in the corporate world, it also assumes a very important role because we've been given targets, and I really like that, to make sure that the women-men ratio increases. We support women in their endeavor to become big in the corporate ladder, move up the corporate ladder. At the same time, my thought to myself is, why targets? Why aren't there targets for men? Why are there targets for women? This got me thinking. This shows the culture that we've always had over years, over decades. That the woman is someone who's going to be at home. She's the homemaker, and the man goes out to earn and gets money gets bread and money for the family. Whereas I understand that the woman is, of course, the nurturer, the nurtures the family. But at the same time, in today's age and world, it is extremely important for the woman to work. First point. Second, also to move up the corporate ladder as fast as possible. So in a company like Siemens, we've always been very, very progressive in these topics. And as leaders, when I was a CFO of digital industries in India, there were targets that were given to us that we must increase the number of women within the organization, not just in terms of numbers, but also in terms of leadership roles, and which for me is very, very good. That's one aspect. The other aspect is, I have sensed when I interact with so many women within my finance team, in my friend circle, women always have 2 or 3 roles. Not only do they work in the office, but after they go back home, they have to take care of their kids, they have to take care of their husbands, they have to take care of their in-laws. So they have a double job. So we think that, as well as men, when we come back, yes, we do work, but at the same time, we don't work the way women do. Women work a lot more, and we need to respect that. And that was a point that we have also highlighted to a great extent in our diversity talks, in our growth talks, in our women empowerment talks within the organization. Cut to, I'd also like to talk about my personal life. My wife, as I mentioned, she's a German teacher. She works with Goethe Institute. She's also an intercultural trainer. Back in 1995, we got married in 1996. We had our first daughter in 97. And of course, at that point in time, she had done her BCom and she was also studying for her MA. But of course, our child was small and I was consulting and we used to travel a lot. She was always with me. But at some point in time, when we had a second child, it struck us that she must work. She must do something that would keep her occupied mentally and at the same time make sure that she has her own dignity. I joined Siemens back in 2004-05, and at that point in time, I was asked to learn German as a language. And then one day I got back to her and said, look, Mansi, this is a good language. Why don't you pick it up? Our younger one was 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. The elder one was 6 or 7. So both were kind of going to college. And, practically half the day she was free. So she said, why not? And that's when the journey started back in 2005 and 2006. And in 2009, she became a full-fledged German teacher. She completed all her levels. The last one called Oberstufe, which is the highest level. And she became a qualified German teacher. And then there's no looking back. We went in 2011 to Germany, 2011 to 2015. She also honed her skills over there and tried to make sure that, how best can you learn the language other than talking to the locals. So she did that. In the same breath, after coming back in 2015 from Germany for the last 10 years, she's been working as a teacher at Goethe Institute. What she's also taken up, and I am very proud of that, is she is now also an intercultural trainer. So not just is she a teacher, but she's also an intercultural trainer. And this gives me a lot of pride because what she was back in 1995-96 when we got married versus where she is today, she's moved up her professional journey. Cut to my 2 daughters. I've always been a person, the elder one is Dhruvi, the younger one is Ayushi. And Dhruvi is more, she's the marketing lady. Ayushi is an arty girl, as I said. She loves graphical art design. And the only mantra that I've told them is that you must study because education is something that no one can take from you. So if you've studied, if you got a good degree, you worked hard and you've managed your learned to manage your finances well, you will always succeed in life. So whatever I've seen this is just a snapshot of my personal life. I just wanted to tell you that being the only man with 3 women, it is always important that I make sure that my wife and my daughters, it was always at the back of my mind that they must work and they must study as far as my kids are concerned and take up a job. My mother, she worked for a bank for 19 years. And it was only when I came in my 10th standard that she gave up a job. So we come from a family of professionals. My father's a solicitor. On my wife's side, her parents are, her father is a solicitor, her sister is a lawyer, etc. So it's a bunch of professionals, and this is something we've always believed in. So coming back to my topic in terms of diversity, what I've seen both personally and professionally, when someone is charged, when someone is motivated to do something, the person, and you get a lot of support, the person will do it. The women will do it. Women are multitaskers. Once they decide to do something, they will do it come what may. And this is what I've seen in my office also. I'd also like to talk about a program that I had initiated in my organization called Shakti. And this was trying to bring all the women employees of the organization in one single event. It had never happened in the past. It was a full day event. And this event was nothing else but an event for bringing like-minded or also not like-minded women together. Women who are young, unmarried, women who are married, women who are grandmothers, all together in one room for one full day, not to discuss business, but to just have fun. It all started off with me giving a speech on my life, my personal life, my wife, my kids, etc. Then we moved into what is known as Strength Scope. Strength Scope, long story short, is a very important tool, and you can Google it sometime, which basically tells you, as the name suggests, where are your strengths, as an individual. It's a bunch of questions that you answer, then it throws up a spider web of information and tells you, okay, you're good in some areas, you're not good in some areas. Surprisingly, the consensus was that women are very good at organizing things and very good implementation, have a very good implementation mind. But when it comes to a strategic bent, which is needed for corporate women, women are lacking that. Which means if you give them a task, they will do it. They will do it with a lot of dedication. But when you tell them to strategize something, it was difficult within this group of around 100 odd women. So we did a lot of learnings when we did StrengthScope. Then the next thing that we did in the afternoon was basically clay modeling. So think of something that is very close to your heart. Try and create this. Someone created a sun, some created a few birds flying, and a few women did artistry about dance, etc. And they created those magnets. And each of them have created the magnet and have it right now, and we give it to them and put it on their refrigerators or on their cupboards or wherever. So this was a memory and a souvenir for them. And last session, which was the fourth session, was basically a session on playing games. So doing things which they would normally not do. Trust me, most of the women had never met each other. They'd always spoken to each other on the phone. They're always, because of professional work, so discussing topics around finance, accounting, etc. But had never seen each other face to face. This gave them an opportunity to talk about their personal lives, about their professional lives, about the issues that they are facing face to face. And this was a huge difference. I could see the productivity increase because so many women were introducing themselves to each other. Impact, not only was the impact so positive, but at the same time, the impact was seen in the work. We have in Siemens what is known as a Siemens assessment, which is it's called SGS, but I think for us to understand this better, it is an evaluation of the performance of the corporation or the organization over the last 6 months. And when we did this survey, we saw a huge spike in the motivation and the enthusiasm levels of the organization and the women especially. They said, we are very motivated, we really like this initiative, and it truly brought out the Shakti, as we call this, as we codenamed this event, across all women within the organization. And I can tell you there were some women when we had the panel discussion who actually spoke about their journeys, how they were when they actually joined Siemens, what their parents have done to sacrifice, in order to sacrifice their well-being, so to speak, for the success of their daughters, and where they are today. The girls are doing so well, the daughters are doing so well, and it's a proud moment for their parents. And that brought also a lot of pride to me. Made me also very very proud about this whole topic, because this is something that I've always wanted to see. They were very happy because they never got a platform to talk. They were very happy because they never got a platform to collaborate and discuss topics which they would normally have never done. So I think this is something which I have seen blossom really well in an organization. And as I said, I've given you this. This is not a scripted podcast. Trust me, I'm just speaking extempore. So this basically gave me a lot of positivity, both on the family front and on the professional front. And now, since I've moved to Australia, of course, this is a topic that a program that was taken up in India. They will continue Shakti version 2 now this year and going forward. So this was my bit on women empowerment and diversity. Make sure that the women in the house study. Make sure that the women in the house work. They have to contribute and must contribute to their well-being and to the contribution of the family, but also at the same time, make sure that they are respected. In fact, one of the topics that we also picked up was a ratio. We had a very poor women to men ratio. Logically, if you see, it should be 50-50. But yes, I do understand many a times if you go to the site, it's difficult for a woman to travel to the site and work at 45 degrees, 50 degrees, 3 months at a stretch. It's difficult. I'm not saying impossible. Nothing is impossible, but it's difficult. But having said that, a lot of the women were recruited on desk jobs, like HR, accounting. And I'm happy to say that, in the finance team, the ratio moved from 12-13% to 25%. We had a target of 25% by 2025. And I'm happy to say that we are 26% by 2025. And the target is to move at some point in time to 35% in the next 5 years. It's difficult to do 50-50, but at least, if we move towards 35%, then we are moving towards our goal of, at least a 50-50, if not more. And that is what we want to do. We have to make sure that we empower women. We have to make sure that we make jobs available for them, and also in leadership positions. It's not just that you recruit someone and that's it. No, in leadership positions. And that is a target that's given to me as a leader. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, women empowerment and diversity. And another topic that is very close to my heart and probably some of you all will resonate is technology. We all know that today, in this world of AI and cloud computing, industrial edge, co-pilot, metaverse, etc. These are all buzzwords. Don't worry about it. Don't get too stressed. But I think we must read about this. We must know about this. It's all knowledge is always good. And I've given a lot of lectures internally within my organization and also externally, but I talk about technology and finance. You heard a lot of these scams that happen right now. Every second day you hear about people, trying to dupe you over the phone or over emails, asking for passcodes, etc. It's very, very important, as senior citizens, to understand technology, to be aware of the benefits of technology, and also at the same time be a bit cautious in terms of using it, in your day-to-day life. For example, you must have heard about this CFO who was cloned in Hong Kong. A CFO in a meeting was cloned, just to give you an example, and he called his direct reports and he basically told them to transfer $25 million to a certain account in Hong Kong. It's there in the press. You can Google it. And because it was the boss, all of them transferred the money to their account, thinking that this was money to be used for the business. Little do they know that what they were seeing on the video was not the CFO himself, but a clone of the CFO. It looked as if it's the CFO talking, but it wasn't the CFO. It was a hacker. Now, the money of $25 million was transferred to the account. The money was siphoned off. There was a lot of defalcation and misappropriation of cash. But what can you do? At the end of the day, AI basically cloned the CFO and money was transferred to a bank account outside of Hong Kong. This is just an example that I'm giving you, and many more on a day-to-day basis do pop up. So I think as senior citizens and citizens of this country, it's very important that you must read a lot about this. You must try and be abreast of the latest technological developments. AI is being used everywhere, whether it's a chatbot trying to help you solve a certain problem. If your bank account is not popping up well, or your passbook needs to be upgraded, or you want to make some payment online, you have to be very, very careful. And I can tell you, I've been duped. I've been duped once when I was trying to book a room, Dharamshala. And I've been duped, and this has happened with me also. So one has to be very, very clear. So in these times and age, it is so critical because you never know at what point in time who will come and who will, take a passcode or clone your phone, just unknown. The latest one that I heard a few days back was, someone sending you a message from your contact list saying that, please send me this passcode. I need to do something or send some money or whatever. And you think that, he's my relative, so I must send the money to him. Little do you realize that this is a WhatsApp hacker who's trying to hack your phones and who's trying to hack your system. And you would send the passcode, and then after that, he has complete control on your WhatsApp and can make payments and send messages, etc., etc. So lots of things are happening. So please keep reading. Please keep your eyes and ears open. Try to learn technology to the extent possible. We don't need to be technological experts, not at all. But it's always good to a certain extent to be abreast of what's happening in the world of technology, and this is something which I have also told my parents. My father is 82, my mother is 77. My mom is most of the time scared of using the phone. She doesn't. So she's on the complete other side of the pendulum. My father uses the phone, but of course he uses sometimes WhatsApp or makes uses only for text and calling. So they're not tech savvy. So that's one way of looking at it, be completely outside technology. But some of us who are technological savvy, we don't have to be over savvy. Do not be exposed to the rules and regulations of technology to the extent to way beyond your day-to-day needs. I mean, that is my request to all of y'all. I have seen a lot happen. I've seen a lot of accounts being siphoned, both professionally and personally. So that is my request. We sometimes underestimated. But little do we realize that every single day our accounts are being viewed and hacked, right? The maximum number of cyber attacks take place in India. And if you see, there are multiple websites. There are so many attacks happening every single day. Look at deepfake. All of that is happening. And that is happening because some of these systems are vulnerable. Cybersecurity has become the biggest asset that organizations are now wanting to implement in their organization to make sure that they can take care of such attacks. So imagine if a big organization like Siemens has implemented a very strong cybersecurity policy and tools and methodologies. We must also, to a certain extent, we can't do what organizations do because we don't need to. But on the personal life, we must implement this so that our lives are better off personally. So that was it from my side. These two topics, the two diverse topics, one on women empowerment and diversity, which is close to my heart. And I wanted to talk to you about my personal life and one program, Shakti, that I did. And on the other side, technology, which is also extremely important for all of us to understand, and I would request you to please adhere to and at least keep that at the back of your mind. You might not look at it on a regular basis, but please keep your eyes and ears open. Who's doing what files you're opening, what websites are you accessing in case you do, and make sure everything is secure. And if you don't know, ask. There's no harm in asking. There's no harm in asking. No harm in asking and no harm in learning. And coming to learning, I tell you, you can learn at any age. I did my Chartered Institute of Management Accounting at the age of 50. I'm 53 right now. And I decided that, look, this is COVID 2020. What do? I can't be sitting at home doing nothing. I said, let me take up management accounting with the Institute of Management Accountants UK. I gave the exam and I cleared it. So I think learning is something which is a continuous process. Do not get bogged down. Keep reading, keep learning, please. That is a way we can keep our mind active. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. I wish all of you all the very best and stay always in the pink of health. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for echoing the thoughts in your mind, which I'm sure will be well received by our listeners. With that, here's Revati Bhaskar signing off till we meet again with another podcast.
You were listening to Covaivani podcasts from S3 Kovai Care, Coimbatore. Please contact 14567. I repeat, 14567 Elderline Helpline during working hours for any assistance relating to senior citizens. Thank you.